Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
Doe?
You two.
Vakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing.
He told me about Tarnigan, too.
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegis is in grave peril.
So I can see.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer, and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd...
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust. That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line.
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldaman and Sia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid, as people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis, not the lords and sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
Your speech seems to have done the trick.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing.
It's still too premature to say with any certainty, but I believe so. This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie, built on nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy of...
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You?
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return, but not as your sovereign. Nor as a leader, the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But...
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright, or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like... oh, I don't know.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to...
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegis till you...
Thank you.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need someone to guide them. Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world, though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough.
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time... We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits. Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
In one sense, when all is said and done,
You, a Renan Lord.
I was complicit in the Renan system. And when I realized the severity of a lord, and yet my first instinct was to place my fate in the...
I think I can relate. I couldn't stand watching my people bow and scrape their way through life. The ability to think for yourself and be your own master. Zephyr taught me how to fight.
Even if it means stumbling along the way. If it's on a road of our own choosing. Or, to put it another way, so long as his heart is compromised, even the loftiest of kings is no freer than a... This Zephyr character sounds like he was a wise...
There's just... so much I wish I could...
How long have you known...
Known what?
About the darkness I carry inside me?
Why ask me now? But... yes, I have. I've pretty much known that some...
So basically since...
Leave the past where it belongs. We have no need for it now. If my brother could see you... Well then, just as well it's not a competition.
Kisara? Anyone at home? Among other things. You were thinking about Dohalim.
I was just thinking how good it is to see him. It was always so infuriating, knowing how capable he could be if he just put his mind to it. A prisoner trapped in a cage of his own self-doubt. But now, he's finally beginning to spread his wings.
So, then what?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say sad. There's a bittersweetness to it, I guess. It probably sounds weird.
Must be that maternal instinct of... Rinwell's right. You're like a mother bird. A pretty big...
All this has made me realize, if Dohalim can forge his own path ahead...
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
Hey, that actually came out... thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more...
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix.
That can wait for now.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the...
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The answers have to be there.
So, what do we do first?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should... What? Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone!
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here.
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can... Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already?
The flower of oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis.
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
I don't believe this. We're watching Dana die before our eyes.
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Now what?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here?
Perhaps. Someone brought...
We haven't been ambushed.
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back.
Shion, just in the nick of time. Here.
No!
What the?
No, I'm the one who should apologize.
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute without putting your foot in your...
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than... Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about...
Actually, I've been meaning to ask.
I guess I never really thought about it in the... Before long, it was just part of my everyday reality. Which isn't to say I didn't feel alone.
So numb to your reality, you could...
It's fine.
But... I can't even touch you.
I appreciate the concern. Until I get rid of these thorns. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be.
Yeah.
What the? Are you...
Oh, come on. How am I supposed...
It's called experiencing feelings of...
Yeah, but...
Staying...
still can't get over what we saw.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana. Still, though, I never would have imagined Rena actually...
Beats me.
Rena and Dan. But to think that they lied to us.
Dohalim.
Okay. That beam of light joining Dana and Rena.
That's what it looked like. And then the Danon side was...
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after...
Try to stay calm. What is it?
No, it's just... Zephyr. So much for me,
You made it this far. You noticed something?
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that? It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise.
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be...
What do you mean, serve?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you.
Oh, goody.
Do you think we can trust this?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Date Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's Great Spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, as I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena...
A question. What is this Great Spirit of which you speak?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will. A voice we cannot refuse.
A voice?
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it, without question, through...
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this Great Spirit be the true Sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe...
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what Hevrect 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegis are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegis was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renaissance.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base,
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was
a request? But what could someone
I wish for you all to slay the—
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so.
What makes you say that?
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is—
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning?
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change—
Vengeance?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you—
Others?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabit—
Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature—
To be honest, the conversation went on for so—
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of—
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates—
It doesn't matter.
Right.
There is one other thing. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough.
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrek 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helgan—
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Let's find out. Who are they?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any
Are you a Renan?
Oh. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift.
What a weird—
He must have meant Hevrek 35 when he mentioned that over—
And what was that about subjects? You don't think—
There isn't anyone else we can talk to around here.
Have you guys lived up here in Dag Faisal with Hevrek 35?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how we regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time...
Why are you all even here in the first...
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegus from the...
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived...
And you've been working for Hevrek 35?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us, as long as they don't do anything obvious.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previous.
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they want. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids... I have to imagine that's how Lenegus is...
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great...
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you...
I mean, sure. I was surprised when I first found out about...
Hevrek 35 has clearly ceased concealing it.
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegus?
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay... Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be... That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of...
Thank you for answering. Do you know anything about a spirit?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes.
Yes. It was to use Lenegus to siphon off Dana's...
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such... Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's...
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the...
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost... For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana.
And the crown
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, a new sovereign had to be... It was such tremendously difficult work. Its success was due...
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the...
What about the flower that sprouted from...
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical... As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy.
Hevrek 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is...
It is. I never thought I would live to see... Are we done talking now? If it's all...
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another...
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here.
Can we talk to you for a...
Sure. It's going to be a while.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helgan...
You mean the Overseer species?
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside...
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans and...
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by...
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil.
But what need could they possibly have to create a...
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction. In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they gathered Danans who had an affinity for astro... That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans? That the Helganquil kid...
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. They have these tiny machines.
Enough!
How can you speak so calmly about...
I guess I can see how when viewed in a... But if you ask me, if it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process... Anyway, the Helganquil are the... They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between...
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renan's...
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting...
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside...
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by...
Let's take a moment to get... I know all of this is a lot to believe and take...
Agreed.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spen the Helganquil created the Renan.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the...
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had... Why don't we all take some time to think things over?
That's a good idea. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind... Because it's not just Dana on the line. So let's go ahead and break off for... You sure you don't?
I could ask you this.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking.
I'll go along with you.
Sounds good.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot.
You both...
Only because after everything we've seen...
How are you holding up, Rinwell?
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dan and mages like my family were But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on... I know it's not as simple. Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing.
Yeah, but even so, I was still able to change. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That Great Spirit worries me. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting.
Now that you mention it, Heverick 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up.
Maybe.
We won't. We'll keep it safe, no... Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that...
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Heverick 35 is told.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of
But if Heverick 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie...
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now.
Really? Well then. If we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another.
Make one, huh?
Oh.
She who?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all.
What do you think about everything we've learned?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the... As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans, and in my case, I think that's partly because deep down, So...
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? But... at the same time...
I know you're already aware of this. And... if people then find out...
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who... I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance...
Well, first we can try to figure out what...
Yeah. It'd be nice if one...
It's no small task.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even...
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first... And now, I think I see a way to move forward.
I still can't believe...
You're not the only one still trying to make sense.
Really?
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum?
It was really that bad?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody...
Man, I think you might be...
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes. That was no way to live. But all this talk about other races and the world ending...
I know this is going to sound strange coming...
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorn, and when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, but that's when I finally got it.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside...
The thing that's most important. All I want to do is protect the people that really...
Not everyone is...
Huh?
It's something your dad... Law... Forget...
Yeah. I'll fight to protect the...
I apologize for making...
You mean hearing the...
Indeed.
Even I'm...
Let's not delude our... I can...
That's just part of being... When you say...
Correct. Putting a...
So...
And at the... There is... And the vic...
I didn't
Menancia, there had been...
But think...
Indeed. On that note...
Oh?
I wish...
And I take...
Yes. However... Is it...
No.
You're too...
That's some hype.
Then I'll ask...
You...
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning...
What about...
To be honest, right now it's...
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, I thought I'd die alone. I would have never... It was Naori's hope, how it fell on...
I don't think Naori... She can... I don't...
Huh?
When we... She's... That...
Forgiving.
Yeah. If we...
You know?
It's not going to be... But if we can do... I'm there. I think...
Yeah.
Well...
Yes.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs...
I am. There's a lot to think about. I don't care who we're up against.
What are your thoughts, Alphen?
Like Law said, it's trying to rob us of our entire world. That alone is enough. But it's not only that.
You're saying there's a chance...
You're referring to the vision of destruction?
Yeah. And to hear Shion tell it?
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised... And if Rena's great spirit...
Shion's thorns are the...
We don't know anything for...
While the main body...
Shion.
If these thorns really are...
The question is, how do we confront... Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena... The way...
And we only know...
Heverick 35 has been a... It wouldn't ask us to fight it.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were...
Do you have your answer?
We want to ask something. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being. Rather, its will is derived from the core. Therefore, if you destroy the core...
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renaissance... You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign, using their powers. The Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit...
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorn.
She was actually right.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral...
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat...
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be...
So it really will kill...
This method is the most simple one available to destroy...
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal...
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very...
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving...
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of... We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis...
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core. So long as it remains... That is why it is necessary for it. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit...
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great...
Well?
It is true that the Renis Alma is capable of what you suggest.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the considering that the Renis Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you...
Fine then.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, we want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in life.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma?
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of...
So right in the middle...
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it...
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such...
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely. The collapse will occur in stages.
Man.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves. To protect what matters to us. Remember that.
It matters little to me. Repair work on your starship has commenced. Finished.
Man.
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope again?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from... Couldn't we make use of that?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel.
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended... Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on detail.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us?
I am.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time.
But you still intend to confront this truth, head.
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, even as I dream of retirement.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renan.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. But you changed that, Dohalim. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans, not as slaves. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the... But we knew that not all of you were like that. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can...
That is, in essence. Well,
yeah, it is. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away.
I understand what you're saying. But we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be...
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, if we can build a society that works like that...
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright?
Yes, I do. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however.
You'll always have a home in Menancia. Well, if you ever need a helping hand, Doe.
Did you just... Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work...
Don't even mention it. Don't you think that brings down a barrier? Yeah.
Hey, why'd you call me here?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, so I wanted to apologize.
Apologize?
I was being real stupid before. I get why you're angry now. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried.
But you really trust Dana's will.
Yeah, I think that might be part of it, but I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a
Yeah, of course.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you, it was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by it. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right?
Remember what I said about neither planet's... That's not quite true. I sensed it when we first got here. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside, in a way.
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it...
Yeah.
Hefric 35 might know the... But, you know what? So thanks, Rinwell. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately.
Huh?
Never mind.
Huh? No, what were you saying? Come on!
Saying anything?
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind.
Same as you. Still trying to...
Remember when it was so simple?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened...
If I hadn't run into you that day, I wouldn't have my memories back.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me...
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hefric 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body and Rena. I need you to promise me, Alphen. You'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis, but it's taken us this far.
You can't be serious.
Listen, the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be...
Okay, but you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, I hope you can forgive me.
Alphen. Okay. So it's a promise?
Yeah, it's a...
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. I don't have words for the shock I...
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because...
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone.
Yeah, we should...
Agreed.
Our task is relatively straightforward.
We're fighting for a new future for...
Right.
Then let's go, everybody.
Repairs on your starship are
Is that you?
I can see anywhere within the bounds.
It sounds like someone's...
Maybe we should give Hefric 35 a break.
I have unlocked all function...
Warp drive?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere with...
Wait.
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot.
We gotta go all the way down.
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once...
The extinction of my people is inevitable. As such, it would be illogical to...
Can't that thing lighten up a bit?
Well?
You heard the lady. Get...
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that, similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist.
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have...
You mean it is because of multiple chance interaction? Why have you two continued to persist?
It's hard to explain. To be honest... All right, time to get back on the phone lines.
It would appear that our Helganquil host...
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere.
I don't sense even a trace. This world is...
Then this must be the Hollow.
You mean to tell me this whole world...
And it's covering everything.
This is what the Great Spirit does.
So arresting.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant, but after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone in...
So the Great Spirit took everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude.
With nothing left here to consume.
You're saying if we don't stop it...
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants...
If the Oblivion and Darkness both... It looks like we can climb down. Let's take a look.
So... This is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever.
A hollowed ocean is...
What do you mean, what would happen?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone...
No, this is a... No, because I...
Taking an interest is understandable.
Looks like we're not going to be...
You think I was... So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma.
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as...
I already had wielded Astral... The problem isn't just our enemy's strength.
In other words...
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack.
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the... It won't be easy. Question for you. Let's say...
What'll the world be like?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it...
A lot will have to change.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule.
That's true.
Renans, Danans, Astral Art users, mages.
If only we could see differences like that. Not different.
It will take someone in power.
There will no longer be any need for the...
That's where we come... Imagine it.
Yeah, you're...
Looks like we warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguised as...
Wait! Can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not...
So they really are being controlled.
Something off here?
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
It's on!
Shine, radiant light!
You picked the wrong fight!
I'll heal you all! Not in your dreams!
Demon light!
Lightning orb!
No further! Slot!
Light astral radiant! What would I do?
Sorry,
You do the same for me.
Severing Wind! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Just with the double.
Flush! Heal! Flush! It's too much! This one's all mine!
You got me. Don't give up.
I'm ready!
Astral energy, full throttle. Go!
I can carve through armor!
I'll bring you back from death. Illuminate the sun. Magic is in.
Winning pile to win! Soaring right now! Eternal devastation! Crush!
Sleep now.
Eternal devastation! Cosmic rupture! Win!
All right. It's showtime. Light astral
Eternal devastation! Crush!
Negative gain.
Win! You picked the wrong fight!
Glacial Spear. Here's the prime
Rending you apart!
ready to go. I never miss.
Severing Wind! No further!
Light astral energy. Leave the enemy's arts to me.
I'll smash it! No complaints here!
Denied. Healing soul. All right. It's showtime.
I don't know what. Blow them away!
Lightning to death. Thunder Kite. Illuminator Monarch.
Eternal devastation!
Holy Land.
Severing Wind! I'll grind you into burn! The tempest and go! Eternal devastation! Left on light. Crush! They smite with blackened flame!
Do it. In the wind. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes! A merry distraction!
There's still more to go. The flames will roar. In here.
Severing Wind!
Hear my call.
Soaring Light Spear!
Arch Spear.
Can you take it?
Don't mind if I do.
Prepare to be seen!
Now you see what I can do!
No! Blow them away!
Alphen.
I can't forgive them, but I hate killing them.
Perhaps. However, if we
Yeah,
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I can't get out of this!
First aid.
Eternal devastation!
Illuminate the sun.
Resonate with the earth!
All mine.
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Illuminate healing. Cut forth holy glimmer.
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Burning strike. Water, hear my call. This one's
Eternal
mine.
devastation!
I never miss.
Soaring
Gale
blast!
force. Dance in the wind. Heal. This is
Soaring
a
Light Spear!
magic is
In a bind?
Take this! I'll smash you! Crescent Slash!
Do it.
Kisara! All yours, Kisara!
Soaring Light!
Annihilate in the wind. Radiant here.
Eternal devastation!
Out of ammo. I'm all stuck up.
Eternal devastation!
Downfall. Now.
Soaring Light
It's
Spear!
over. Astral energy. Full throttle. A flawless victory.
Soaring Light Spear!
Naturally.
No further! Stardust!
Hold on to your arc. Here I come.
Elusive deity!
Radiant
Pile driver!
Reload.
I'm ready! Commander of Heavens! Phoenix
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
I wonder what Hilganquil civilization was.
I can imagine that'd be something you...
There's no question it must have been advanced.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history.
Put a pin in it, and you...
I can think of worse things than a retirement
It's a little early to...
A man can dream, though.
Oh, we didn't say there's any...
In your case, Dohalim,
You'll need to stay with us for now, though.
Why do I feel this is less of a...
Just a friendly...
Hey!
Is this about dinner last night?
What? No!
Rinwell.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's...
Right. So it kind of begs the question then.
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess?
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till...
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight.
Huh.
It would mean...
Not...
Get him, Hootle. Oh, now you want to listen.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot.
You can say that again.
Isn't it weird that they're still so
Certainly in all of my years, I've never...
The only thing I can think of, then.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down.
Exterminate them?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures.
You're right.
First people made Zeugles.
I hope we find a way to be able to...
It's a nice thought, but...
Aside from the strays that have gone...
If we had distinct territories that didn't...
Well, I guess when you look at...
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
I thought...
I would imagine they're remnants left behind.
It's incredible.
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember?
If they had the power to create things like this, or rather, was that the only use the... We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they... To think of the promise they're accomplishing.
Do you think we could have got along with them?
Like all of us, you mean?
I think we may have had the chance once.
You and Alphen both share an On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself.
Just in the past 300 years.
Regarding the past 3 centuries, at least. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around.
I can understand where he's coming from.
What do you mean where it leads?
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit...
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere.
Borrow one of...
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us.
You know it?
What the... Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
Take this!
Now that fucking is driving me mad! Try this!
More where that came from.
We got fire! Stay calm.
I've got
I shall provide assistance.
Marksman handle it.
Eternal devastation! All yours!
I never miss. Primed and ready.
Eternal
I never
devastation!
miss. Photon, lightning condemn.
Burn in hell!
Do it. Thunderbolt. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
There you go. Reinforcements.
I'm ready! More Zeugles?
Get toasty.
Burn strike! Eternal devastation!
Take this!
Here, let me help.
Begin!
I was the wall. Sleep now.
A scream bathed in blood.
Let's get you.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! More?
Glacial spear.
Eternal devastation!
Lightning orb.
Crush!
Whoa. Freeze
Eternal
laser.
devastation!
I'll smash you!
Into the shadow.
Ignite!
Here.
Regenerate! Eternal devastation!
Illuminate the sun.
You're mine!
Do it.
Still!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Water, hear my call.
Thank
Come
you.
on, not in your dreams.
Crush!
Denied. Will this help?
I'm ready!
Flames will
More?
roar.
Captivity!
Burn
Stun
it,
us!
dance in the wind.
Be careful not to overdo it.
Do it.
Do better.
This one's got your name on it.
Action to action! Amelie!
Sparkling stars of light. Rain down in fury.
Eternal devastation!
I'll heal you all.
In a bind!
Here's a
Soaring
hero.
light spear!
First aid. Dance in the wind. Here I
This
go.
one's all mine! Burn! This armor won't save you!
Another this one's mine. Crush. I never miss.
More?
Here I go! I'm only getting started!
Everlasting
Get on in there with
You're
that
mine!
I'm not done!
This one's mine!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Raging
You're
Cascade!
finished!
Sleep now! Denied! Do it!
Eternal devastation!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! More?
Eternal devastation!
Dust!
Do it!
Deity! You require a head. Stardust! Take this!
Shattering illuminate the dark! Come
Begin!
holy glimmer!
You're mine!
Holy light!
Stardust! I'm ready! Holy! In an instant! Impact cross! More?
Radiant light! Stars of light! Rain down and
You must be tired of healing me. I'm merely doing what I can.
Here I go!
Glad you're on our
Dance in the wind! I never miss!
Severing wind!
Here's it!
Soaring light flare!
Into the shadows! Bloody
Now! More?
Radiant here! Get on in there with the others!
Severing wind!
Sleep now! That'll bring you down!
Soaring light flare!
Far enough!
Shattering
Pieces!
No further! Eternal devastation!
I can carve
through armor!
Meteor! I can do it all day!
Eternal devastation!
Eat dirt! This one's mine!
I'm ready!
Kisara! Frozen!
Hammer! More?
Thunder! More with radiant! Here!
I'm ready! River!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Shut!
Well done!
Take it! This one's all mine! You picked the wrong fight! Severing wind! Soaring light flare! Swallow blade! Severing wind!
My astral magic is there!
With the earth!
Burning
Armor won't save you! Eternal devastation! Ignite! Stardust! Can't get out of this!
Wind astral energy!
I'm ready! Your arts are really incredible.
It's thanks to you I can use them.
And I promise I'll always be here.
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Totally! In an instant! Impact cross!
So I still had room to grow. Even in such a harsh environment as this. There are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could...
I wonder how the Renans avoided...
I'd say it's likely.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the... Now, it turns out they themselves were one...
Which must mean that the root of their evil is...
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Shion and Dohalim to choose to... Without it, we would...
Law's entirely right.
Yeah. Where there's hope...
What'd he say?
He said...
You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find... This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Win!
Primed and red.
I shall ensure you survive this.
Stay on the ground. Here
Eternal
goes!
devastation!
Confiscated!
It got flyers!
I've got this! Let him mark them in here!
Not today! All yours! Eternal devastation!
Lightning! That'll bring you down!
I'm ready!
Dohalim! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go!
Eternal devastation!
In a bind.
I've got it!
Soaring light spear! Eternal devastation!
Do it!
Eternal devastation! Roll them away!
Water! Here
Severing Wind! Not today! Swallow Blade! Try this! Infernal Torrent! I'll smash you! Severing Wind! Soaring Light Stick!
You must be tired of healing me. I'm merely doing what I can to help. Glad you're on out here, Silver.
Glacial Spear! Piercing Torrent!
Severing Wind!
Do it!
As impressive as always.
Here I was always improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
I need something to eat.